All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Real Tea Radio Show. This is episode 2 with one of my dearest friends, Justin Nimock. Today, we're going to be talking about his journey, his spiritual path. He is a father of 3 beautiful girls, lived here in the Metro. He's a financial planner. He's a spiritual golf retreat coach. He does a lot of different things, and Justin's so glad and happy to have you on. Why don't you tell the people kind of a little bit of a, little background of who you are, what you do, and let's go from there.
Cool. Yeah. I have two brothers. So born into a family of 3 boys. Between the 3 of us, we now have 6 daughters. So became a girl dad, proud husband. I got a beautiful wife, and daughters are 11, 7, and 4 years young. They're amazing. They're, of course, the most important aspects of my life. I've chosen to be the breadwinner in the family, so my wife Reem can take care of the household, where she does a great job. And right now she's supporting the main fundraiser of our private Catholic school. But one thing I'm most proud of is breaking the chains of the corporate world and becoming an entrepreneur. I definitely consider myself a visionary and committed to just tapping into my passions and trying to align that with my purpose, which is a level of service to others, and particularly helping others with their visions and the steps that they need to create their best life. Yeah, any new venture is always exciting, yet, there's just as much of a chance of failure as success. So in creating and promoting a spiritual golf retreat to Thailand, trying to figure out if I'm going to pull it off. But I got a few men signed up, some of my best buddies. So we're going to Thailand. We're playing golf, and we're exploring each of our own personal spiritual journeys to lead into hopefully a better, really the best 2024 we can each create for ourselves. So just always trying to pursue that passion of my life, which is golf, travel, joy with others, as I also, maintain a professional stream of income by being a financial advisor and helping people, take care of their money, offer a disciplined investment plan. But sometimes I shy away from that identity because it's not necessarily my passion, but it pays the bills, and I've gotten good at it over 12 years. So I continue to serve people in that way as well.
I love that, Justin. And I want to give people a little bit more context of how you broke those corporate chains and what was it? What was that pivotal moment, in your previous, well, I don't want to say previous career, but your previous position in the industry that made you realize this isn't for me. Like, I want to go in a different direction. The spiritual golf coach stuff is awesome. You've been talking about that for, about a year and a half now. Super jazzed and pumped, for that and for you. But what was it that made you change your mind? Give us a little bit of context.
The story goes back quite a bit. As a child, I always did the right thing. My mom did in-home daycare my whole childhood. So besides growing up with 2 brothers as the oldest, I grew up with 12 to 15 other kids running around my house and my mom taking care of them. And with that, I felt like it was partly on me to keep the order, but I just learned to always do the right thing. I got in trouble less. My mom was less stressed. And so I got good grades throughout, elementary school, middle school, high school, college. I got the job I was supposed to with my dad as a financial advisor, and him kind of always encouraging me to follow in his footsteps. But I found myself 3 years ago looking back like, man, I've always done the right thing. I'm smart, I'm successful, and yet I kind of feel like I'm in a corporate jail. I've done the right thing, yet I feel trapped. And I had these visions of pursuing, again, different life coaching opportunities, creating a wealth management brand beyond my corporate brand. And it just felt like I was getting shut down. And I'm like, forget this. Like, I'm not staying in this corporate jail anymore. I'm going to escape. And I got brave enough to make the leap, and glad I did.
I respect that. I did something very similar, and my wife now, Jamie, she was actually the one that pushed me into real estate and told me I should get into this career. I spent 9 months in a corporate cubicle and almost jumped out the freaking window. I just couldn't do it anymore. And aside from the same thing over and over day to day, um, you have to feel it in your heart that it's number one, it's the right thing to do, like you were
Mm-hmm.
saying, and then number two, you have to be passionate about it.
Yeah, yeah,
And
and
so
brave. I think brave. It takes a level of just confidence and courage to take a
yes,
leap of faith. There's no other way to make the break and make the escape and jump into something else but to put on my big boy panties and you know
sail out to the big waters, man,
sail on out.
and being brave. I mean, at the time it was just me and my girl, and we didn't have any kids. So, I mean, again, like the utmost respect for you and how brave you truly were to take that leap of faith, man, and make something out of it. And you're doing damn good. So,
The thing about the corporate jail, it started to put on some golden handcuffs, and I also gave up a big opportunity of money and income to take
mhm.
over a family business under this corporate identity. So again, everyone's path's different, but certainly it gave me even a deeper confidence in myself that I was able to do so, and further satisfaction that's related to freedom in taking the leap of faith. So happy I
I
did.
love it. And you're still in the industry, so let's not confuse people.
Yeah,
You're still a financial planner, and you're still in the markets. You
yeah.
don't necessarily love talking about the markets, which I love about you, because you're not just like any other, financial advisor out there. But you've been in the industry for a very long time. Your father has been in the industry for an extremely long time.
Mhm.
Seeing where we are now, both economically speaking, the influx of different technologies, AI, this and that,
Mhm.
just, how the industry has flown.
Yeah.
What differences do you see now? Where do you see the industry going? What do you see for professionals such as yourself and, people in the industry? Where do you see this thing going? Do you see changes
Yeah, I look back to where my dad started almost 40 years ago as more of a stockbroker, before the internet, when clients had to get their information from, someone in the industry.
Sure.
Nowadays, there is so much information out there.
Yes.
Anyone can be an investor on their own. Anyone can have their own strategy. But the biggest thing that stays constant is human decisions, and where I know that I add the most value as a financial advisor is helping people avoid mistakes. And with all the information out there, and with the information stirring emotions of greed sometimes and fear, it's easy for regular people to make big mistakes trying to predict the markets, trying to think they know best. And not maybe they don't even think they know best, but they think someone else knows best. They read an article or they've been following some guy that makes, some claim that ends up costing them a lot of money down the road. So the big constant that I don't see changing is the need for people to get the help to avoid mistakes, to have kind of that sounding board, someone they trust that's going to lead the way and keep them from making costly mistakes. As far as from a pure investment standpoint, where the industry's going, it's hard to tell. I'm really not an expert in that space. As a financial advisor, people think that I should know, a lot about, certain companies or even certain sects of the market that we might be able to capitalize on. But I don't even try to do so. I think diversification is the best way to make money, as well as the best way to not lose money. And for anyone trying to chase what's hot, whether it be Bitcoin or AI or the newest technology or the newest drugs or the newest anything, I personally would advise them to, to dabble to their heart's delight, but to also be humble enough that there is smart minds and smart teams managing billions, if not trillions of dollars that are going to beat you if you're not careful. And if you think you're going to know better than them and you're going to be able to time things and trade things better than them, I'd heed caution. So I think, it's better to quiet the noise and I'm not gonna, go there with like, I think this technology is best. You just put your
Yes.
money there. I don't think that's the right approach.
Yes, I mean we're human beings. There's a reason that Vegas is in business and a booming business at that, right? We're
Exactly.
always
Human
attracted to the get.
psychology.
Yes, we're always attracted to the get rich quick stuff, and I think what you're saying is a well balanced, well diversified portfolio is always going to win long term and insulate you from any major losses. If one sector goes down, hopefully you have another sector that makes up for it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. Doesn't sound
and
the sexiest story, but I do think
no.
it's the best way to make money over the long run.
Yes, and it's all about the long run, and again, everybody wants to lose 30 pounds in a week. Everybody wants to make $1 million in 30 days, so it's just the human psychology. And
Yeah.
to your point, having that human to human connection, in the midst of information overload on the
Mm-hmm.
internet is really
Mm-hmm.
what we're dealing with. In my industry, it's the Zillows, it's all the other Redfins, Trulias, all that kind of stuff that
Mm-hmm.
overload people with data. They don't know how to interpret it, and they get caught
Mm-hmm.
up in an article that they may read, some clickbait, what have you. So I think
Mm-hmm.
that human to human guidance and understanding of that particular individual's situation is truly where your art and your craft come into play. Same
Yeah,
as mine,
yeah,
because
yeah.
yeah,
And we also we all have so much capacity to spend time, doing what we want. I really think that any average person can do my job, can do investing on their own, and if they're
hmm
willing and want to put the time and energy to do it in a solid way, that they can save money and not have a financial advisor. But again, there's so many other areas where people want to put their time and energy, and they end up hiring a financial advisor to take the burden off of them having to spend time and energy doing it on their own.
sure. I'm not a dentist, man.
Same thing in real estate. Same thing. And you can go buy your
Yeah,
house on your own, but man, the time and energy and headache that it might take you, you know, um, might be worth hiring a professional to kind of carry some of the weight for you.
and some people, as unfortunate it is to say, some people need to figure this out on their own, regardless
Everyone
of what
does.
you tell them. And so some people need to fall flat on their face. I mean, I speak to some for sale by owners. They think they could do it themselves.
They
They
can.
don't. They can. Yeah, they're not going to get anywhere. They're not going to sell their house. And that's a whole different conversation. But
Yeah.
the point being, uh, some people really need to just smack the wall going 100 miles an hour and go,
Yeah.
oh crap,
Yeah.
I should have hired a professional. But aside from work, man, we're human beings outside of work, right? So beyond your professional accomplishments and your industry and your day-to-day job, how do you continue to grow and develop as an individual, as a human being? Any habits, practices, things that you deploy, in your personal life um, that have helped you on your,
Yeah.
personal growth or had a significant impact in your life?
Yeah. I perceive my choice to enter into life as a spiritual journey and explore what religions are telling us, as well as just the gurus out there, as well as just anyone that wants to speak to a spiritual path. I've connected with it, and I've chosen to put my time and energy in in learning and reading as much as I can in that sect. And so my number one daily discipline is to wake up and surrender my day to the highest source, to infinite intelligence, to God, to to Jesus himself at times. I'm always trying to invite in the spirit of Jesus. Uh, I'll invite in spirits of other deceased people, including my grandmother at times. If I'm having a struggle in some realm and I'm like, I call her bestie, bestie. Like if you're out there, like plant that nugget of wisdom that I need. But same thing, I call in Jesus. I'll call in Martin Luther King when I need bravery on something. When I have a passion, I'm like, man, can I do this? Martin Luther King Jr., what would you do? But I allow myself to think beyond just this human body that I'm in and the human people around me, and think that there's energy and maybe spirits around me that I'm going to choose to try to tap into, and to wake up every day and surrender to the highest knowing, the holiest spirit, the infinite intelligence. I call it different things at different times, but just a willingness to release my intellect and my knowing to allow space for something greater and wiser to come in.
And I'm so happy that you brought that up, actually, because and it's called, many different things, but in Think and Grow Rich, one of the books that we read together and have little masterminds about,
Of
they
course,
talk
yeah,
about an invisible advisory board. And basically what that is whether they're still with us or and passed away, you bring them in your mind through either meditation or a quiet space, and bring your thoughts, troubles, concerns to them, and see, imagine what they would tell you, what kind of advice they would tell you. And that's such a helpful tool, and I utilize that myself as well.
yeah,
So I'm glad that you brought that up, and I encourage other people to read that book too, because that book is amazing, and there's a
yeah,
lot of great nuggets of advice in there.
yeah.
Justin, if you could go back, man, like 15, 20 years and give yourself some words of wisdom, a piece of advice,
Mm.
to where you are now, what you have any advice you would give your younger self? And what would it be?
Yeah, I think the main advice I would get is that nobody really knows. And I was given a lot of credit to people that are older than me, teachers, mentors, parents. Uh, I was kind of giving my power away, I think, instead of truly trusting my heart and my unique journey. And the one thing I tell anybody who's, 15 years ago, that for me, I'm 39, so 24 years young, always do the right thing. And it's the right thing when it gives you peace. And the right thing for you may be different than the right thing for somebody else, and that's okay. But to be bold enough and brave enough to say, this is right for me, and this is what's true for me, and this is what's going to give me peace, and to follow through with it. I'm fortunate enough, I think, to learn that wisdom in the last several years for my own life, but it's something I wish I knew earlier.
Follow your heart, follow your gut,
Yeah, yeah.
and
More
move
so than
with you.
anybody else's.
Yes, it's your life, man. Nobody else is living it, and you have to live with your life and the decisions that you make every day. And
Amen.
peace is something that you can't buy. I mean, you can theoretically, but peace in your heart and in your mind, it's something that you cannot buy.
Yeah, yeah,
So I love that. I love that advice. I think myself included, and a lot of other people would take that advice and give ourselves that advice as well.
yeah.
Um, cool, man. So back to the staying on the personal stuff. Your wife, you guys have been married 12 years now, 13 years.
That's right. Yeah, we're in our 12th year of marriage.
Okay, and I love your wife. She's an aspiring comedian. She's an absolute joy to be around.
Yeah,
Um, but she is not from the States. She is Iraqi, correct?
that's right. Yeah, born in Baghdad, Iraq.
All right. So I would assume that there was probably some cultural differences within that relationship. As I would say, most relationships where, from different cultures have. My sister's first marriage was with a Spanish dude. My current wife, she's a little Polish, not as Polish as me. And you
Yeah.
see these movies like My Big Fat Greek Wedding, which by the way is an awesome movie. I think they have a new one that just came out last week, but there's cultural differences, my point being. And did you guys face anything in the 12 years together that have been challenges? How did you overcome those challenges? And would you have any advice for couples that are in the same situation as us?
Yeah, definitely. Definitely some cultural differences. My wife's family is the most passionate family I've ever been around, and probably similar to my fat Greek wedding. They're so loud, they're so boisterous, they're so opinionated, they're
Yes.
so righteous,
Yes.
and
Yes.
every attribute in life has positives and negatives. And so literally happiness can be negative at times when someone just needs to be, consoled, or they're sad and they need empathy. So even, being, you can be too happy sometimes. But always, you know, appreciating the good side of all these traits. And anytime I try to resist it, or kind of cool my wife off because she's so intense, it rarely goes good. It's just accept her for who she is. Um, it's
Be one
forced
with the
me.
water. Be one with the water and go with the current. You
Exactly.
can't go against the current.
Exactly, exactly. But literally, certain holidays I'm overwhelmed. I'm like overwhelmed with the intensity in the room, and
Yes.
they speak. My wife's family speaks fluent Arabic for the most part, as well as fluent English. But sometimes they just feel like getting into their native language, and it sounds like they're yelling at each other. And that was a
Yes.
big adjustment for me. Was like, why are they so mad at each other? And then I asked my wife several times, like, no, no, we're not mad, we're happy. And I'm like,
Yeah.
no way, can't be. Like, it made me feel uncomfortable, and eventually got used to it. And now I just find myself with the biggest smile when they get the most intense, and they're you know sharing in a language I can't understand. I just look at them like I smile, and now it brings a joy to my face. So again, finding the good, so easy to say, but finding the good in everything.
Yes.
But it's been an adjustment. But now looking at my kids and then being able to take attributes from my culture and my wife's culture makes them, I think, so much more well-rounded and more whole. And I would encourage everyone to seek outside of their culture. And I know many
Yes.
cultures want people to marry in their own culture. So trust yourself. Again, take my advice: is your parents don't know better for you, you do. But consider marrying outside of your culture, because the depth of experience of life, in my experience, has been greater.
Yes, and there's a certain level of awareness. I think awareness in love is what you're really pointing to, and you have to have an awareness of the differences and approach it with love. Go with the water, go with
Exactly.
the current.
Yeah.
It is what it is. I remember the first time I experienced. God, I have a client that they are from they're Assyrian. I remember the first time that I met them was in this house that they were seeing for the first time, and her now fiance comes up to me and goes, "Rich, I hope you're ready." And I go, "What are you talking about?" He goes, "I hope you're ready, man. They're gonna come in here. They're gonna be super loud. Like they're gonna be yelling. They're not mad. That's just how they are." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Like I've seen, Polish people yell at each other, or talk. They're loud talkers. They're very emotionally like vibrant and fiery.
Yes.
But my God, man, let me tell you, they were standing in this kitchen just wailing at each other, and they weren't mad. Like to your point, they weren't mad. They were happy. They were just
Yeah.
discussing and congratulating each other, and it was, it was something to experience. And again, to your point of your kids now being exposed to that,
Yeah.
they are much more potent human beings,
Yeah.
I think, because they know the different sides of different cultures, and
Yeah.
that way when they're exposed to it down the line when they're adults, they're able to, I think, handle it in a much better way and understand it in a much better way, which
Yeah.
again just makes them more potent human beings.
Yeah.
Whether it be business or personal relationships, or their own relationships, or whatever it may be, they're aware, they've been exposed. It's not like they're learning to swim for the first time.
Yeah.
They've
Yeah.
already
Well
been
said.
thrown in the pool. So that's
Totally.
awesome, man.
Yeah.
Dude, you're a big golfer. You are the top three, best golfers that I personally know and have golfed with, and I love golfing with you because you are so good.
Thanks,
And I'm
buddy.
a firm believer if I want to better my game, then I need to hang out with better people,
Mm.
in the sport. So you golf a lot, probably what, 2, 3 times a week, I think.
Yeah. I mean, that's playing golf, and I try to practice another 2 or 3 days a week.
Yep.
And my
So
mindset's to try to pick up and hit balls every day.
I love it, man. So you're swinging clubs at least 5 out of the 7 days a week, which
Yep.
is, I love that for you, man. I'm sure that helps with your sanity living in a house full of, 4 women. I get it. I have one, and it's hard enough. But uh, what are uh, what are your three like favorite courses here for people?
Oh,
Categorized by, let's say, like best value,
okay.
most beautiful, and then
Yeah.
just your like absolute favorite, a combination of all, and just your fave course.
Yeah. I mean, if you travel to Denver, getting up to the mountains and playing golf, there's a course called the Raven at Three Peaks outside Silverthorne, which
Okay.
is one of my favorites. But just about all of the mountain courses are awesome. Like that's a life
Gorgeous.
experience to go up, be able to hit the ball in 8,000, $10,000 altitude, feel like the man
Yep.
is awesome. Down in
Well,
the
and the
Denver
ball
metro.
travels a lot further, right?
Exactly.
What are what
Exactly.
are what are the specifics of that? Like 50 yards more to your drive, 100?
Uh, I don't know exactly. I mean, even just being in Denver, we're at a higher altitude. So when I go down to the coastal regions, I'm losing at least a club, which is about 10% of
Okay.
distance. So, a 5 iron that goes 200 yards in Denver is going to go 20 yards less in
At sea level.
and yeah, in Los Angeles at sea level. And same thing, you go up to the mountains, maybe my 5 iron's more like 210, 215. I'm gaining another, 5, 10%. So it's fun to do that. I love Bear Dance down in Larkspur, Colorado. It's just well kept, beautiful course. But probably the prettiest course around Denver's Arrowhead Golf Club. Just huge undulating red rock formations coming through the earth, built millions of years ago, and it's just a gem we have in the area. As far as good value, I've yet to join a country club. I still might do that one day, but my biggest hold up in that is there's so many good public courses around town, and to play both in Aurora and in Denver, all the courses are very well kept, and you can get out there for 40 or $50 a round, which is an amazing value these days. And so I'm still kind of paying for private school and saving for 3 weddings and 3 college, experiences coming up. So
They
if I
ain't
can
cheap,
save some
brother.
money going out to Aurora and Denver courses, I still get a great golf experience for the right price.
One of my favorite courses, and it's a beautiful mix of value and just it's an awesome mountain course. Is Evergreen.
Yeah, yeah,
Awesome
and
course.
that's
$50, and
yeah.
that is a mountain course, man. Your OB on the left hand side, you'll roll all the way, into the middle. I mean, some of the slopes there are just it's such a fun course, and it's a great
Yeah,
value. I love, $50 round of golf with a cart,
yeah,
throwing a breakfast burrito for $7. Um,
bro, we're blessed. We got great golf in Denver. There's great golf worldwide, but Denver's a hub of good, reasonably priced golf.
yes, yep, and I love it, man, and I'm so happy that you get out as much as you do.
Yeah.
You got a qualifier coming up in 90 days in LA. So I'm wishing you luck with that. And I got faith that you'll succeed and win and
Thanks.
qualify if that's the word.
That's the word, bro. This is a national qualifier. So this is the I've been playing on the Colorado Amateur Tour, but this is a national amateur qualifier. And fortunately, gotten the handicap low enough to play in these. I needed a 5.4. I'm at a 4.5, and it's still not low enough. I'm like I need to be at a 1 or 2 or scratch, and once I'm there, I'm sure I'll need to be better than that. But I don't know. The pursuit of that low handicap is something that gives me happiness.
Hey, nothing worth having is easy in life, right? That goes
Amen.
from for golf to
Yeah.
business to anything relationships.
Yeah.
But I love it. Justin, thank you so much for joining us on the show today. It was an absolute pleasure having you on. I'm hoping that some people got some inspiration from your journey. They might be stuck in something that they're not fulfilled and happy with. Justin is living proof that you can take the leap of faith, bet on yourself, even, with kids, with all of the, financial burdens on your back. If you bet, on yourself and believe in yourself and have faith, you will be just fine. So I'm hoping that you inspired some people today. You're certainly an inspiration to myself. And again, just thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and share your story. And good luck golfing today, man.
My pleasure being on, Rich. Thanks for having me.
Awesome, man. Well, take care. And thank you, everybody, for joining us today. And we'll catch you on the next one. And that's a wrap on another episode of the Real Tea Radio Show. Thank you for tuning in and indulging in these honest and thought-provoking conversations. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe, like, and leave a comment on your favorite platform. Remember, the Real Tea keeps flowing on our favorite social media channels, so connect with us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. Until next time, keep steeping in truth, growing with purpose, and embracing the authentic flavors of life. This is Rich signing off. Stay brewed.